The San Blas was a fairly easy place to sail, with white sandy bottoms to anchor in and short distances between islands. The only downsides were that it is mostly uncharted and there were a lot of dodgy reefs we had to constantly keep an eye out for.
Oh, I'm looking for a ghost. When's it gonna find me?
Oh, you're cute, aren't you? You're a good dog. Now don't eat the drone.
Around 500 years ago, before the San Blas Islands became the home of the Kuna, the islands were occupied by the Spanish. The Spanish referred to the islands as a pirate zone with many places to hide. The Kuna were living in the forest that bordered Colombia and Panama, and it was very hard to trade and move to other communities. Food, trading routes with different families, pirates and explorers, their communities quickly grew.
What's that? What's that in the sky?
Up until the 1940s, no tourists were allowed to visit the islands. Nowadays, the Kuna are fairly used to tourists visiting their islands, and some have turned towards tourism to make a living because of it. But one thing is for sure, these locals had definitely never seen a drone before. Oh! What have we got, babe?
Jeff got us a little present.
An awesome present. This is the same rum that Wolfram had.
Yeah. So I had this with coffee the other day. Wolfram and Yolitas. Apparently it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, if you'd like to sponsor us, Rom Zakapa.
Cheers, Jeff.
Good on you, mate. Really appreciate it. Group has said. Maybe we better skip this song, Elayna.
Right.
Walking in slow motion, like you've just been here.
Each day became quite repetitive. This sentence is not to be mistaken for a complaint, but with the similar palm tree filled islands, turquoise waters and beautiful sunsets, the predictable days were a good change for us and we really had time to relax. In the mornings I would usually dive off the boat and there would be countless stingrays cruising around. Most were spotted eagle rays, which were quite playful and curious. The boys made the most of the morning's wildlife with a spear gun.
Right in the eye. Boom.
Good shot.
Where is it? There. With Elayna's pink.
You love it.
All the fish here or out there are just really scared of you. So as soon as they see you, they duck off, and there's like caves and caverns and all sorts of places for him to hide, so it's really hard. So I had to sneak up on him.
The challenge?
I had to go and hide behind a ledge and then crawl out, and he turned around and looked at me, and I just went right in the eyeball.
You didn't know what hit him?
Right in the eyeball.
By late afternoon, we would have already eaten dinner and then we would head to shore as it's much cooler for exploring. Out for help. Think of what it might have been if you took a bus to Chinatown. We'd be standing on Canal and a Bowery. She'd be standing for?
It's decision making time.
Alright,
We have to leave the San Blas Islands.
No.
Where to go next
So we're
in
here.
order to...
Join us next time as we sail to Panama. We say goodbye to Jeff and prepare for the transit of the Panama Canal.
I was thinking about what you were talking about last night, which was kind of the duty to the people that watch your channel and worrying that people might rush into something and get a little bit over their heads. And it really made me think about how I got started in sailing, and probably how everybody gets started in sailing. And it seems very romantic in the beginning, but everybody goes through this learning period where in the beginning they make a bunch of mistakes simply because they don't, unless they're really lucky, they just run into the usual problems. You run aground, things break on the boat, you get overwhelmed by changing weather conditions, you're surprised by the influence of current and tide, tricky challenges of anchoring and docking. Systems break on the boat. You have problems with power, you have problems with the engine, you have problems with rigging. There's just a huge...
And the list goes on.
The list goes on. And there's this huge learning curve, and all the while, notwithstanding all those challenges, there's a magic of being on a sailboat that makes encountering and overcoming and figuring your way through all of those challenges worth the headache, because the joy of sailing is simply, for many people, such a wonderful experience. The way to learn those lessons and the way to build that experience based upon failure is in low stakes circumstances. So start with a small boat, do sailing that's on bays or lakes or coastal areas. So if you get in trouble, or I should say when you get in trouble, because you're going to get in trouble in the beginning, the worst thing that happens is you have an embarrassing tow back to shore, or you have a weekend that's ruined or a day that's ruined. And I don't think it's avoidable for people to undergo those challenges, because it's just part of it. It's an entirely new thing, and it's not inherently really dangerous. It's just very unforgiving of mistakes. So when you make mistakes, I think the place to make them is close to home, close to help, and with small mistakes, your crew will be safe, and the financial penalties for those mistakes are recoverable. In thinking about that idea, it sort of made me wonder whether, if recommending to your viewers that they acknowledge that is before them, if they truly want to become sailors and world cruisers, it's probably within the reach of everyone. But there's a period of time and a period of learning and experience that must be gone through before one could undertake something as ambitious and something that requires real understanding and knowledge, either by reading or first-hand experience, before embarking on something that is as romantic and glorious as sailing around the world. I know you would never want to discourage people from enjoying something as lovely as this, but you, I think, understandably and honorably feel a duty to make sure that people don't get themselves in trouble without realizing how hard it is and how many things can go wrong.
I didn't learn close to home. Like, I flew to Italy, and then I went from there, I went to Croatia.
Yeah.
And I was making mistakes, just bad ones in the middle, and I got lucky.
Yeah, I think you got lucky, and you had to work your tail off too.
Yeah.
And you probably had some really scary experiences that weren't filmed, and encountered expenses that were surprising in their
ridiculous.
Yeah.
People that are scared of pirates and sharks we want to encourage them to get out of their shell and go and like experience a few things.
Yeah.
And they need nothing but encouragement. But people, if there's people out there that are like me,
Right.
they don't need too much more of a push, and they'll do something
Right.
silly.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like they can go, oh, if that buffoon Riley can get a boat and just burn around everywhere, why can't I do it? But it's super expensive, and you need to, like you said, you're better off learning in a port, because I think in the end I got lucky, certainly on a couple of occasions.
Yeah. And you know, a bad anchoring job is much more risky than any pirate.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
drag and crash into a real expensive boat, or you wash your boat up onto a reef. I mean, that's the same thing as a pirate. And you got to anchor everywhere you stop.
Yeah.
And it's hard work to do it right.
Yeah.